Hi, fourth grade, and welcome back to Math with Mr. G. Today we're continuing our work with math patterns and the rules that go along with them to create functions. So let's read our objective for today. Our objective is to generate a number or shape pattern that follows a given rule. Identify apparent features of the pattern that were not explicit in the rule itself. So apparent doesn't mean like your parents, like your mom or your dad. Apparent means just like it's there, it's visible, you can figure it out, or you can, explore it or almost solve it in a way, like it's puzzle. So I have some more examples that are similar to yesterday's that are pretty common and more work off of that. So our rule for this first one is to subtract 4. And remember, we subtract 4 as we go across each one of these. And just like we learned in yesterday's video, if I wanted to go the opposite way, so let's say I wanted to come not left to right, but now right to left, I would need to do the opposite of whatever the rule is, which in this case would be to add, since the rule is to subtract. This would be the same if this was multiplication. Let's say I were to multiply going this way, I would have to divide going back. So remember that how operations are linked in that way, that addition and subtraction are like two sides of the same coin. Same thing with multiplication and division, and also in ways too that multiplication is just repeated addition and division is just repeated subtraction. So these are pretty simple ones that shouldn't have you think that deep, but let's say you wanted to do a more complex pattern or do something like, Sudoku or a word puzzle that involves math. Like those are all different ways that you could apply this in a fun and easy way. So let's look at these examples for today. So I have 24 and I'm going to subtract 4 from it, which is 20. And remember, you want to double check with the numbers they gave you to make sure that your rule is correct and that you're following the pattern correctly too, if they've given you the rule right out of the way. So 20 minus 4, 19, 18, 17, 16. Yep, it is subtracting 4. I'm going to subtract 4 again. 15, 14, 13, 12. Not a very good one. There we go. 12. And then it's another 4 from that. 11, 10, 9, 8. So 8. Awesome. All right, let's scroll down. Okay, so here's the things that get a little tricky is that we don't know the rule here, so we have to figure out what happens between these numbers. We're going from 71 to 62. I'm going to immediately do something here that I think is helpful for myself. I'm going to have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division written here on the side. And these are the 4 possible operations for this type of rule and for this type of pattern. I'm going to cross off the ones that seem unlikely so I can start checking and guess and checking the other ones that seem more likely. I notice that these numbers are going down, so the rule doesn't involve multiplication. And it doesn't involve addition, because numbers would go up if those were involved. So this can either be subtraction or division. Well, I'm trying to think, like 71 divided by something to give me 62. There isn't anything that I could divide 71 by to only give me 62. Those numbers are very close together, so it can't be division. So I must be subtracting in some way. So let's see exactly by how much, because we're decreasing. Let's take, I'll do it in blue here. Let's take 71 and let's subtract 62 from it. 6 and 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay, so we might be subtracting by 9. Let's double check that though. Let's not just assume that's what's going on. Let's double check that. So let's take 62 and subtract from 53. Finding the difference between these numbers. Borrow becomes 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, so this subtract 9 rule has checked out twice. So I'm willing to bet that this is the case. So now I just need to subtract from there. So 53 minus 9 is 44. 44 minus 9 is just 55. Awesome. Okay. So let's look at this number pattern here. I have a much larger numbers here and much more questions to be asked about it. So it says examine the number pattern below. Examine just means to look or to see and to look closely. It doesn't mean just like, yep, I see it, but like to look at it and kind of examine it, read through it, try to understand it. So we're going from 1,203 to 1,624 to 2,045 and 2,466. Okay, so let's look at the questions that are being asked. What rule does this pattern follow? Write the next 3 numbers in the pattern, and if the number pattern continues, what would be the 10th number in the sequence be? Okay, I'm going to follow kind of this same method here. I'm going to say multiplying, adding, subtracting, or dividing. one of these is going to be the operation for a rule. I see that our numbers are increasing, so that's immediately going to cross off subtraction and division for us. Now, is this multiplication? I don't think so. I'm going to say that it's probably not, because even if you were to multiply, let's say 1,203 by 2, the next number would be at least 2,000. So you have 1,000, double it, multiply by 2, you're going to get 2,000, right? So it can't be multiplication, which leaves me with just addition is the rule. The rule is going to be that you're adding something, okay? But the question is what is that something? I need to find the difference between these. I need to see what's being added. And the best way to do that is to actually subtract to find the difference between the two to see what I add to each. Again, the rule is adding, it's not subtracting, but to figure out the rule, I need to subtract to figure out what's been added. So I'm going to take 1,624, and I'm going to subtract 1,203 from it. 4 minus 3 is 1, 2 minus 0 is 2, 6 minus 2 is 4, 1 minus nothing is 0. Okay, so far I think I'm adding 421. Let's see if that's the case. So let's take 421. I'm going to zoom out just a bit here so you have some more room to work. And I'm going to add, I'll switch back to my blue marker. I'm going to add 421 to 1,624 and see if I get 2,045. So 1,624, let's add 421. Cool. 4 plus 1 is 5, 2 plus 2 is 4, 6 plus 4 is 10, carry the 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2,045. Okay, so that rule does in fact check out. So our rule is to add 421. Okay, so the next three numbers in the pattern. So I'm going to take 2,466, I'm going to add 421 to it, and keep going in that order. So I'm going to need a lot of room to work here, so I'm actually going to zoom way out here. Okay, so I'm taking 2,466, and I'm adding 421 to it. Okay, 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus nothing is 2. Okay, so the first number in this pattern is going to be 2,887. I'm going to add another 421 to this. I'm just going to keep this going down in a single vertical addition column so I can just keep track of my work a little more neatly. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 9. Sorry, 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 4 is 13. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So I have 3,308 for my next number. Okay. And then I'm going to add another 421 to find that last one in that pattern. 8 plus 1 is 9. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2. There we go. 3 plus 4 is 7. 3 plus nothing is 3. So 3,729. Okay. So we know the next three numbers in the pattern, and they want to know if the pattern continues, what will the 10th number in the sequence be? How many numbers do we have done so far? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have two ways of doing this, okay? You could add 3 more times to find what the 10th one is, which might be the easiest. I'm actually going to do a different method, which is to take this 10 and recognize a 10 rule here, a 0 rule. If this is number 1 here, I only need to multiply what my rule by 10 to find the 10th number. So if I have 421 and I multiply it by 10, I just put that 0 on it, like this. So 4,210. If I add that to this 1,203, I should be able to find the 10th number because I took the rule and multiplied it by 10. We're just lucky that they're trying to find the 10th number. If they were trying to find, for instance, the 12th number or something in that line, I mean, you could multiply by 12, but it wouldn't be as neat as this nice 10 rule. I would be more inclined to add repeated to do that. So 0 plus 3 is 3, 1 plus 0 is 1, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. So it's kind of hard to see there, but it would be 5,413. Awesome. It's a lot involved with that one. Not usually are they that tricky, but I wanted to include a more difficult one so you could see kind of my thought process on that and how I would solve that pattern. Let's look at this bottom one. Of course, an example from our assessment if you have followed this along. So start at 87 and create a pattern where the rule subtract 6. Okay, so I just got to make sure I'm subtracting 6 from each. All of them start at 87 right off the bat. Here's a really good tip for this multiple choice. We know we're subtracting, which means the numbers need to go down. Let's see if all of them go down. 87 to 81 to 75 to 69. Okay, all those numbers subtract. 87 to 81 to 76 to 70. All those numbers go down. 87, 93, 99, 105. Those numbers do not go down. They go up. 87, 80, 74, 68. Okay, all those numbers go down. So I've already taken one possibility away. Let's take 87 and that's not what I want to do. Sorry for the slip up. Let's see what the next 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers are. So I have 87. 87 subtract 6. 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81. Subtract another 6 will be 75, and another 6 from that will be 69. Okay, is that one of our options? Yeah, it's option A right off the bat. Awesome. As usual, if you guys get stuck on any of this, please just rewatch this video and the video before this to kind of establish your understanding or review some things for your patterns and go through kind of the way I think these through. And as always, I look forward to seeing your work and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.